Why am I the one that has to fail? Why does it seem like everything always happens to me? Maybe a life that includes success just wasn't in the cards for me. What's the point of going forward if it means that I have to fail? By the end of this video, you're going to fully understand the importance of failure and how it can help you on your journey to becoming the best you. So, grab yourself a cup of tea, stay tuned, and let's talk about it. Hello, Howell family. I'm your host, HC. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Tea with HC, where we talk about the issues that concern you on your journey to being true to you. In this episode, we are discussing the importance of failure. When we fail, it feels like everything is over. It feels like everything has come to this moment and we fumbled the one opportunity provided by life. In this moment, nothing seems real because where do we go from here? We were supposed to be on the train of success, but it seems like that train has already made its stop at our station and boarded everyone else but us. In such a scenario, it is easy to perceive our failure as the enemy of progress. However, despite the anger, confusion, and solitude that we may feel in that moment, it is the farthest thing from the truth. Failure is textually defined as the condition or fact of not achieving the desired end or ends. Still, it should be mentioned that unless you will it to be, desire does not end. Failure is as much a part of success as success is a part of failure. There are two sides to the same coin. If you do not know failure, you could not know success. Similar to if you've never felt sadness, you can never truly recognize happiness. Failure is often an eye opener that influences a needed reroute in your life, simply implying that maybe you were too stubborn or short sighted on what you perceived life or success to be. And you needed to lose everything so that you could realize and understand things in a different way. Think of the story of Joseph. Joseph, the son of Jacob, who had 12 boys at the time, was highly favored by his father. And this made all of his brothers jealous and envious of him. Yet, Joseph loved his brothers still and was very appreciative of his situation. Joseph failed to acknowledge, address, or prevent the seriousness of the disapproval felt by his brothers. Then one day, his brothers drew him far away from home and sold him as a slave to their enemies. Although Joseph could have possibly avoided this fate had he been more precautious, and although everything in his life was lost in one swift moment, this was not the end. Rather, it was the reroute necessary to put him on his purpose. Long story short, Joseph grew to become the king's advisor and the commander of an entire kingdom. Despite his early downfall, he rose to be in the position to feed and provide for entire nations, including the brothers that sold him out. In that scenario, his previous reality had to be completely shattered so that he could become and live as who he was truly meant to be. Had misfortune not come his way, he would have never been able to walk into this new life and fulfill his purpose. Had he spent his life dwelling on the past and what happened, he would have never lived to become the success that he became. Thus, although failure can feel like the end, if you are able to still feel those feelings, it is likely to not be the end at all, just a new beginning. I'll show you how failure encourages a better version of you by provoking restructure, helping with appreciation, by helping you see clearly, and by encouraging humility. And hopefully, by then I'll be able to enjoy this warm tea. It's my favorite, ginger. First, failure encourages restructure. Sometimes we have to fall down in order to get a proper footing on the path we were truly meant to follow. For example, let's say you were always inclined to drawing, and all your life, up until your teenage years, you wanted to be an artist. Yet, because you were also naturally athletic, you chose to play on the hockey team and even ended up becoming the star player. Because of this, you've become so caught up in the sport and spend very little time pursuing your passion of drawing, even though it is all that you thought about day in and day out, even during practice. Then, the worst happens. At the final game of the season, because your mind is elsewhere, you fumble a play and miss a close range, game winning shot, and your team loses the game. As a result of this failure, you become a little bit more reclusive. You acknowledge the disappointment in yourself and everyone around you, and you start to seriously reflect on why your mind was elsewhere during what should have been the most important moment of the season. Consequently, you come to the realization if all you ever thought about was pursuing your career of being an artist, why were you so devoted to everything else but that? Because of this failure, you decide to give your own dreams a shot instead of trying to appease everyone else's expectations by being the athlete that they want you to be. You finally decide to give yourself the opportunity to be good at something you love, drawing. With the help of that failure, you learn to give yourself the opportunity to pursue your interests and give yourself an opportunity to be. That big moment of failure pales in comparison to the journey you are about to embark on, yet, it was the necessary element to restructure your priorities and put you on the path to becoming who you were meant to become. As demonstrated in the example, sometimes life gets derailed just so you can finally land on the right track. Second, failure helps you become more appreciative. As the saying goes, we often don't know how good we have something until it's gone. When things are going well, it is easy to take things for granted. Let's say you are someone that is rather popular at school, but before your popularity, you had that one friend that was always there for you. Yet, because of the attention attained from everyone at your school, you began to misinterpret that attention and adoration for genuine care and concern. So you began to ignore and mistreat that true friend. Then, the inconceivable happens, and your schoolmates find out a truth about you that is hard for you to explain, which causes the adoration to diminish and dwindle away. Yet, that one friend that was always there is still there for you, even when everyone else decided to leave. Your failure at being a good friend will quickly be realized when no one is in your corner, and those moments of loss can become moments where you finally become appreciative of those that are in your corner for the right reasons. And going forward, you will particularly be able to discern genuine love and appreciation from temporary attachment. Without this said failure, you could have continued down a path of confusion and of not knowing who is there for you for real, different from who was there for you for ulterior motives. Yes, you failed. Yes, you messed up. Appreciate the lesson and continue to grow. Third, failure helps you see things clearly. Failure can be seen as a serum of disillusionment because when you fail, you begin to put things in perspective. Failure will have you asking yourself the right questions, such as, do I really want to continue down this route? Is this something that I truly want to accomplish? Do I love this or even care for it? Is it something that I truly want to continue investing in? If the answer is yes, failure will help you understand and come to terms with what is necessary to succeed. However, if the answer is no, failure will make that answer loud and clear. Because if you stop going forward because of a bump in the road, did you really want to succeed? Or did you just want the benefits of success? Maybe it was to impress others. Maybe you wanted the status that comes with accomplishing that said thing. Maybe you just wanted to succeed at a certain thing because that's what you were taught to desire, and it's not even your own will. Always remember that which destroys the old system creates the new order. Once you are able to see things clearly, you are able to make the proper adjustments to continue to focus on your ambitions. Failing hard enough will clear up that entire cloud of confusion because no one consciously devotes their lives to an endeavor that they do not want to succeed in. Finally, failure humbles you. Failure helps to remind you that, hey, you are human too. Always remember, no one is perfect, and everything in this world is always changing, including you. If you are always winning, it is easy to become filled with too much pride and to become overly boastful, which creates the illusion that you are unstoppable and, consequently, unteachable. Let's say you were up to get your driver's license and thus had to take the driving test. And although everyone told you to practice more, you decided that you were so good at everything else, why would this be any different? You already practiced some time ago and you already got the hang of driving. What's the point of overdoing it? And who fails their first driving test? Then, the expected unexpected happens. And at the test, the driving instructor asks you the exact things that you decided to brush over, and to your demise, you fail the test. Now you have to go back and face all of the people that you are boasting to, all of the people that are so ready and eager to say, I told you so. In this example, we can clearly denote that failure has a unique way of humbling you, so that, going forward, you can make more conscientious decisions. Does it mean that you will never become a driver? No. Does failing the test mean that you are meant to stay off the road? No. Does it mean that you should never speak highly of yourself ever again? No. It just means that you should humbly take heed to the different sources of advice and wisdom offered to you on your journey toward success. Humility is being open to learn and to accept that everything does not have to make sense or come together right away. It is the decision to be teachable because destiny is a matter of choice, not of chance. To put it all together, we can now assess that failure plays a significant role in your life by provoking restructure, helping with appreciation, by helping you see clearly, and by encouraging humility. We can now clearly see that failure not only has a purpose, but is a necessary element to having a fulfilled and successful life. What do you think about failure? I would love to read your comments as I finish this cup of tea. So please, comment below, like this channel, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. That's it for today's episode of Tea with HC. Hope this helped you appreciate the significance of failure in your life. I'll see you here next time on Howell Consultations, the how-to being true to you.